Okay, Stan, tell me about the new album.
Oh, it's the culmination of some thought and the name of the band is The New Tradition, and we're doing largely improvisational music. What we decided to do was to take the improvisational aspects of traditional jazz, where everybody's kind of soloing simultaneously, but that element is being used with modern rhythms and forms and harmonies. So it's largely a straight eighth note record and has a little bit of a fusion feel to it, but it is kind of different.
Who's in the band?
Well, we have Renato Caranto, one of my dear friends for many, many years, is playing tenor. John Nastos is playing soprano and alto saxophone, and even on one of the tunes he's playing bass clarinet.
Wow.
Clay Giverson is playing piano and Fender Rhodes. Tim Gilson, I don't know if people have heard him, but he's playing 4-string fretless electric bass for the entire record, and he sounds fantastic.
Wow.
And then Mel Brown's son, Christopher Brown, is just killing on the drums.
You're real comfortable with those guys, aren't you?
Well, yeah, I mean, they're my friends, you know, but on the other hand, Chris, have you ever heard Chris play alto saxophone?
No.
I
know he does.
He plays alto on one of the tunes, and I've been for years really interested in having groups that could do a lot of different things, and so these musicians again sort of personify that. You know, you've got a lot of different ways that we could go. The record is mostly, as I said, straight eighth note music, but that band could play bop or could swing hard, could do blues. You know, it's funk. You know, it's the guys are really capable.
Did you write most of the tunes?
I wrote a few of them. I think I have.
I don't think you wrote Mercy, Mercy, Mercy.
No, no. Actually, there are 4 standards on here. Mercy, Mercy, Mercy was Tim Gilson's contribution, and 11/8 for that tune is it's like Have Mercy. And then the other 3 standards were concepts that were developed by my students at Mount Hood Community College, and I got permission from each of them to use their ideas, and then of course we developed them in our own way. So on the CD though, they get arranger's credit, or co-arranging credit. So anyway, all the rest of them are originals.
So did you bring these tunes in fully formed, or did you want to leave room for these guys?
Oh, a whole lot of room.
Yeah.
Only a couple of them are actually arranged in a way that where we're really sticking to the paper. All the rest of it, as a matter of fact, all the rest of it is largely improvised, maybe just a melody, and then the other guys are playing whatever comes to mind.
That requires an awful lot of trust.
Yeah, and I think the amazing thing is that this came together really quickly. I'm not sure that this collection of players had worked together before, but in a matter of about a half a dozen rehearsals, the interactive chemistry amongst the musicians really coalesced, and by the time we went to the studio, it was just short of amazing, as you'll hear when you hear the record.
Well, that's got to be the most rewarding thing for you, artistically.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. You know, my dear friend Thera Memory told me many years ago that when you can let go of the music and trust the other people, then you've arrived. And it was my great privilege to get to do that on this project.
Do you have a favorite tune on this album?
You know, I don't. I have a few that I like quite a little bit. A couple of them that I wrote. The title tune, Feelin It, has a kind of an Ike and Tina vibe, maybe even a little bit of What I Say from Ray Charles, got that little bit of a vibe. And then the other one, this shuffle that I did, it's...
Is it a shuffle?
It's a shuffle blues, but it's a 16-bar blues, and it's different, but yet that was sort of inspired by all those years that we've played at the Waterfront Blues Festival. And I can't get those tunes out of my head. but there's an awful lot of good music on this record. I think one of my favorite tunes is one of John Nastos' composition, which is very reminiscent of New Orleans.
What's it called?
Up in the Air. and it's definitely got that traditional sort of a sound, but with contemporary harmonies.
Well, of course, you played with Renato for years and years and years, and with John in the sextet, and so that must have been a good jumping off point anyway.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, John and Renato and I have played on stage with Mel Brown now for over a year.
Yeah.
John was a student of ours at the Mel Brown Jazz Workshop many, many years ago, and Warren Rand, his teacher, had him on stage with us many, many times in the past. So I've also had some quintets that I've done, and John was the guy that I called when Renato was not available. So I've been playing with Renato, though, almost the entire time I've been in the Portland area.
He's really unsung, isn't he?
I think that's going to change, though, because he's playing with Esperanza Spalding these days, and people are getting to hear what he can really do. But yeah, I think he's, I don't know, in the music community he's not underrated, but I think a lot of people don't know who he is.
She told me that Renato is a great road dog. What did she mean by that?
Well, he travels well. I mean, you know, he doesn't get all worn out and everything, so he brings it to the stage every night. But also, he's a good companion. You know, when you're hanging on the road, he's a good companion. He's always very upbeat and pleasant, and he loves to practice. And so he plays all the time. So yeah, he's on fire every night when he plays.
Will you have all these guys on the gig?
Yeah, absolutely.
Any plans to play together in other places?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm working real hard trying to book the band right now. This is probably going to turn out to be my favorite project of all, and I've had some really, really good projects that I've been able to be involved with. Some of them were mine, and some were for other people. But boy, this has been an awful lot of fun.
Well, if you could choose one tune for everybody to get a preview for, what would that be? That we could preview.
I would say probably Up in the Air, because on that particular tune, the horns are all soloing together, and there's a couple of choruses where the rhythm section drops out and it's just the horns only, and that's kind of different.
Well, that'll be right below this screen. Thanks, Dan.
You bet.